Hey y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley, this is Collective Coffee. I just want to talk a little bit about what's happening in Sudan. Sudan is an African country, if you didn't know, and it is experiencing a genocide. This has been happening for a really long time. I studied the Darfur genocide, if that might be familiar to you. Back in the early 2000s, and the militia, the RSF is what they are called or go by, but they used to be known as, oh my god, Lucy. They used to be known as the Janjaweed militia. And some people still refer to them anyway. We don't need to get caught up in that. The militia is being funded by the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. And I looked that up. You can look up anything I'm saying. And that is where Dubai is. And so what we know about Dubai is that it's a lot of fucking money. And so I think there's a competing militia, so there's two that are kind of going at each other. I don't know if Sudan has a military or not, but anyway, regardless, people are being like completely genocided. They are going from village to village and just completely obliterating everything. And yesterday there were over 130 women who chose to collectively drown themselves so that they wouldn't get raped by the RSF. And there were over 500 men and children that were killed as well. So I wanted to put this here because I know, especially if you're here in America, we don't hear about things like this unless you're on the right side of TikTok. Quite frankly, I will go ahead and put some folks in the description box below that I have found that are talking about this. But there's a big call for the UAE to stop funding this, but I'm not clear as to why they are going after Sudan. Back when I was studying about Darfur, I think it was really like a political or religious. Maybe it was religious, because the people who are being targeted are Muslim folks. But there's probably some sort of resource or land extraction, which is what we're seeing in Congo, right? The people of Congo are being forced to mine their own land, right? Women, children, and the rape for them is also. So these are two different countries in Africa that are experiencing genocide, and I wanted to make sure I spoke on it. I have studied a lot about Africa back in my undergrad, and I remember when I studied about Congo, what I remember learning about Congo was really about child soldiers. In the way that at that point it was the Lord's Resistance Army in Congo, LRA, and I don't know, it was a militia group headed by Joseph Kony, from what I remember. I did get my bachelor's from a Catholic institution, so we did have the internet, but I'm not sure what lens I was really learning from, you know what I mean? Or being, able to learn in. But I have been very interested in these topics for a long time. Interested might not be the correct word. I just want you to know there's multiple genocides happening, and a lot of people don't pay attention to this stuff, right? I know that the whole island of Cuba is also, is it Cuba or is it Costa Rica? There's an island that's been the power grid is completely down and has been for about a week. So if you are not affected by any of these things, and you are if this stuff isn't even on your radar, I would highly encourage you to pay attention to what's happening to other humans on the planet, especially in your area, because there are indigenous people in your area too, wherever you live on the planet. And so there are multiple genocides happening. It's a really, 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 really crazy time. But I want you to the takeaway from this is that there are hundreds and thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people, if we looked at a larger global scale, right? Because we're only talking about a few countries that are dying every day, okay? And the NWO, if you don't know what that stands for, Google it, because I'm not going to say it. I don't want it to put a little blurb underneath me. Have said that, next year, 2025, there will be billions of deaths, right? And I've said before on a Collective Coffee, like, when your oppressors tell you that there's going to be mass deaths, I would really listen to that, right? And do everything you can at a local level to support your neighbor, each other, your community, continue to organize locally and build globally. 130 women they drowned themselves. They tied weights to them so that they wouldn't come back up, to avoid rape. Okay, so again, for women out there, rape is used, as we've seen in Palestine too. It's a very wicked tool for the oppressor to use, and it has continuously been used, right? I was watching the show, what's that show called? Outlander. And the very last few episodes of season 1, when the colonizer, right? So if you can't look at, if you're looking specifically at people with white skin, there's a lens that you can see. Outlander. When the colonizer made, I don't even remember his name. It was so traumatic, I couldn't watch it. But he used rape as a weapon, right? And so just, I don't know why I was told to bring that up, but I have not watched that show since. It's fucking disgusting. Rape has often been used. It's being used in Congo. It's being used everywhere. I made a video about the sacredness of sex, and there was an incel who commented about how women needed to watch it, and I commented back and said, women aren't the ones who are committing rape at, a statistical level. And YouTube, I have my settings so that offensive comments can't be posted. And so I saw it in my YouTube app. I didn't see it. It never showed up on my YouTube video, but I saw it in the back end where I do my editing and stuff. Well, let's keep it real. I don't edit. I add thumbnails. But anyway, he commented back and said, who cares? Women have their choice of men, and men are competing for that. So I was like, oh, you're an incel. If you don't know what an incel is, that's an involuntary celibate man. Usually a big fucking giant fucking pussy, right? Cause you can go get yourself some lube, some Vaseline, and a PVC pipe, and you can fuck right off, okay? But anyway, I remember learning in my undergrad about some of the things that were being developed, specifically in Africa by women, to prevent rape. And one of them is this, and it was never, I just looked into this not too long ago, with all of the rape coming out of Israel, or from Palestine, that Israelis are doing to Palestinian women. And it was never manufactured, but what it is a tube that a woman can insert into her vagina, and it has teeth. So when a woman gets raped, the teeth connect to the penis, and they have to get it surgically removed. So, as you can see, that's probably why that never got manufactured, but it's essentially like just a tube that doesn't harm women in any way, only people who rape. But I did just look into that to see if, because I remember learning about that a really long time ago, and I was like, hell yeah. You know, it's essentially like, well, I was gonna say it's like a chastity belt, but not really. It's a tool to, you know, hurt your rapists, which, by all means. So anyway, 130 women killed themselves by drowning to avoid rape. So, and their husbands, partners, brothers, uncles, fathers were murdered. They made them line up in a line and shot them point blank. So, if you're not voting for peace, or the beginning of peace, or the end of tyranny, and there's the main two options aren't the way to go, right? You're gonna continue these cycles, right? Also feel like bringing this up while we're here. I bought a book from that Klee Benally wrote. Klee passed away in the springtime. He is Dene, which is Navajo, and he's an indigenous anarchist, and he did a lot of cool work. I met Klee when I was doing my master's program. He ran an anarchist info shop in Flagstaff, which is still there, but he wrote a book, and I just got it today, and it came with these stickers right here. So I wanted to put you on if you would like to get this book. It is the perspective of an indigenous anarchist, and I will probably be pulling things to share for Collective Coffee from here. I've only read the intro, but yeah, we as people who are more privileged or white or have colonizing lineage, we need to be doing what we can to support indigenous people globally. And paying attention to the struggles, and the atrocities and the genocides is a start. And then, you know, following the leadership, right? We don't have to recreate the wheel. We don't have any new ideas. We're colonizers, okay? Taking the ideas and the leadership of those who we need to follow, okay? I have a few more book recommendations. I have to get my hands on them. My mentor wrote a book. I haven't read it yet. I need to read that. Patrisse Cullors, one of the black, I'm not sure of Patrisse's pronouns, but Patrisse was one of the 3 who coined the Black Lives Matter hashtag. And they also wrote a book called When They Call You a Terrorist, which is a first-hand account. Patrisse is from Los Angeles. So that's a good one to check out too if you want to learn more about the black struggle. Of course, Assata Shakur's biography, Malcolm X, right? If we want to listen to those who have been in the struggle for a long time, who, you know, people have given their lives, right, in many ways. Suicide, martyrdom, you know. So as we are alive, it's important for us to honor that, okay? All right. I'm gonna put some resources below. I will put a couple books and stuff. If you get Klee's book, it came with stickers and a few zines, so that's super rad. And yeah, we gotta do what we can. This is a time that has been prophesized, right, by indigenous people for years. Like, I'm talking generations. I'm not talking like 20 years. I'm talking about generations. We are living in the times that have been prophesized. And that I read a little bit, and this is really about combating the futurism, right? So like what we're seeing with Elon Musk coming out with like robots and shit. This is going back to indigenous ways of life, right? Connecting back, right? We've talked about this a lot. Connecting back with what's real, what's tangible, what's sacred, right? And we, as white people, if you're white people, can take the leadership. We're not taking anything. It's not what I mean. We follow the leadership of those who are being harmed, right? More than we are. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. Just diversity is beautiful. Don't conduct yourself in supremacist ways. And yeah, have a good one. And do what you can with this, with information readily available to us, with people who have, you know, lost their life. We're literally watching genocides be live streamed. I mean, like, what the fuck? How are we still talking about shit that doesn't matter? I've been trying to get people to care about genocide for like a good 20 years. And I know it's really hard to get people to care about other people. That's not a me problem. I mean, it is, because I want to do everything I can to make that stop, but honestly, I can't do anything about your apathy. That's a you problem. You know, if you have the inability to care for others, then you don't care for yourself either. So, okay. Have a good one.